Behind me, you can see Wal-Mart, the world's largest retailer with nearly 5,000 stores and 1.4 million employees. Last year, 138 million shoppers visited Wal-Mart every week, and 82% of American families bought at least one item there last year. What Wal-Mart doesn't advertise is the fact that it's the most frequently sued company in America. Lawsuits charge Wal-Mart with racketeering, mail and wire fraud, racial and sexual discrimination, refusing to pay workers compensation and Social Security, refusing employees rest and meal breaks, locking employees in overnight off the clock, preventing officials from enforcing wage and immigration laws, and cheating immigrant janitors out of wages. But the list doesn't stop there. In Wal-Mart's own internal audit, it reveals that there were 1,371 child labor law violations in 1 week. A former federal labor department head calls the sheer volume of these violations, quote, a source of great concern. Most recently, Wal-Mart became the defendant in the largest workplace discrimination lawsuit in U.S. history, when a federal court permitted a class action suit against Wal-Mart involving 1.6 million women. So when a Wal-Mart store announced plans to move into an old Kmart site in St. Paul, Minnesota, citizen and labor groups were alarmed and formed the Midway Citizen Consumer Community Coalition, or MC4.
Well, with Wal-Mart moving in, we felt there was a need to do some basic organizing in the community to pull together labor unions, people that live in the community, small business owners, faith communities, showing them that we have some expectations, but we wanted them to do business on our terms and we want them to be responsible to the community.
Some people believe that low wages are inevitable, that a big employer has to pay lower wages in order to be able to offer lower prices. Chris Conry, an organizer from the Food and Commercial Workers, disagrees.
Well, the truth is, for a lot of these places, the total percentage of their operating cost that's a labor expense is not necessarily all that big. So even if you gave everyone at Walmart a $2 an hour raise, it's not going to result in much more than a 2 or 3 cent per item increase. So the whole idea that the price is tied to the labor cost is bunk. It's much more tied to the level of local competition that a store is subject to.
What are you asking Walmart to do in St. Paul?
Those things are meet with the community on a regular basis, obey labor law and workplace law, engage in ethical business practices, so don't use predatory pricing, don't use price gouging, reveal if the business practices that you are using, like say your manufacturing standards or the standards of your products are safe and of a quality that we'd hope they'd be. And finally, to hire from the neighborhood and to pay a living wage. According to the state of Minnesota, the average wage for a retail salesperson in the Twin Cities is $9.50 an hour. So we're not asking them to do anything more than pay what everybody else is paying.
In fact, taxpayers unknowingly subsidize low wages. Walmart has been known to encourage its employees to supplement their wages by applying for public assistance. At a recent protest, a range of union workers were even more alarmed by Walmart, including Walmart's hiring of Westra, a non-union construction firm accused of shoddy construction and hiring from out of state. What bothers you about Walmart?
Well, first of all, they're bringing in people from another state to do the work here in Minnesota.
You mean to actually renovate the building?
Yes, why would we do that? No, regardless of what their ads say. Their employees are being screwed.
I would say to Walmart, you need to be more responsible with who you hire. If you want people to shop in your building, I would definitely have a quality contractor build it. I would also say that if you want Minnesota workers and Minnesota people to shop at your store, I suggest that you create the workers inside be able to join and form unions themselves.
I'm with SEIU Local 113, Minnesota Healthcare Union. Well, I actually live about 7 blocks from here, and I don't want an anti-union employer in my neighborhood. And I want them to honor the labor agreements and the prevailing wage laws that are going on here. And I would also like a card check agreement with the workers here. We don't need another anti-union, union-busting place in this city. St. Paul is a union city.
Let me tell you something about this employer. No one's more familiar with the actions of Walmart than the UFCW across the country. This is an employer, along with their union-busting and cheap labor friends, that are destroying the fabric of our society.
We're just here on behalf of faith communities and labor unions that have partnered in the Twin Cities Religion Labor Network to say that stores and jobs and businesses are all part of what builds strong communities for our families, and these are not the kind of stores and jobs and businesses we need here. We need to be together across the lines of faith communities and labor communities and stand up and speak for the values we care for and let people know that we want solid jobs so people can support their families and build strong communities, that we want jobs that support the folks in these neighborhoods, and that we don't want the Wal-Mart model of employment to be a part of our community.
We got to not shop at these kind of stores. We've got to not shop at businesses that break down labor conditions, break down community conditions, and don't pay worth a damn.
I want to tell you something. This is my district. I take this very personally because, as my labor leader was just saying, we don't take this kind of shit around here. This is outrageous.
2 months later, when the St. Paul Wal-Mart finally opened, over 300 community residents representing several dozen community groups staged their own protest. Chief among their grievances was the fact that Wal-Mart would not meet with them.
Our goals today are to try to get Wal-Mart to come to the table. If they can't even listen to our suggestions and our needs as a community, then they don't need our dollars from this community.
Wal-Mart's pay women less than men. I am a woman, and that's injustice.
They drain our human and community resources. For every $1 that Wal-Mart makes in a community, 80 cents of that dollar goes back to Arkansas. When we heard that Wal-Mart was coming into the neighborhood, we tried contacting them. We tried calling them. We wrote letters to invite them and sit and meet with us about some of our concerns. They never answered any of our calls or letters. They just never showed up.
Many of the people in our congregation, if they work at places like Wal-Mart, they have to work 2 or 3 jobs just to make ends meet. Wal-Mart is stealing from the quality of life of our community.
That's right!
Employer's responsibility to make sure that the employee has what he or she needs to support him or herself and his or her family. I'd like to remind you that economic choices are moral and ethical choices. And to ask you to make an ethical choice and spend your money in local and locally owned businesses and businesses that take care of their employees.
We believe that if you work hard at a job all day, you ought to earn enough money to take care of your family. You ought to earn enough money to pay for your health security. You ought to earn enough money to buy a home and have a retirement that you can count on. That's the American dream. Let's not let it turn into the American nightmare.
At the end of the rally, the protesters peacefully marched into the store chanting, "Share the wealth, Wal-Mart." However, our cameras were not allowed inside.
Share the wealth, Wal-Mart! Share the wealth, Wal-Mart!
Right there, Saber, you can hear.
It affects me personally because I'm a healthcare worker, and I work for a nonprofit, and we take care of women and their children who probably work here. You know, they don't have access to preventative care. Their children don't get immunized. You know, they're working for ungodly low wages with low benefits, and it wouldn't cost Wal-Mart much to just offer a fair wage with fair, affordable benefits. So,
because no matter how much you make, if you don't have health insurance, you don't have anything. So it's very disappointing. And then it hurts, because no matter what happens, another dream has failed again. You know.
There are a lot of myths about Wal-Mart. One is that they have the lowest prices. But according to studies conducted by universities in Iowa, Vermont, and Arkansas, only about 1% of the 75,000 products Wal-Mart carries have the lowest prices. You might also think Wal-Mart generates tax revenue for the community, but many cities have discovered that Wal-Mart uses more tax money than it generates. the increased cost of roads, water, and sewage often exceeds the sales and property tax revenues generated by the new Wal-Marts. Even some Business Week magazine economists believe Wal-Mart's entry into a community does not result in any net increase in jobs and tax revenue. Often, small businesses who can't compete with the prices leave. And it's not just small businesses who can't compete. Over the last 10 years, over 25 chains have been forced into bankruptcy by Wal-Mart. Once those competitors leave, Wal-Mart's prices rise. Wal-Mart also tends to destroy local higher-paying jobs paid by similar employers who feel forced to cut their wages to compete. This is called a race to the bottom. Furthermore, when you shop at Wal-Mart, most of the money will leave the state. If you shop at a local business, that local business will spend 3 times as much in the community as Wal-Mart. Money which stays in state enriches the state. Finally, all those Wal-Mart ads may make you think that Wal-Mart gives a lot to the community in donations and charities. The fact is, local businesses donate 4 times as much to charity as Wal-Mart does, relative to overall sales. If a Wal-Mart is coming to your community, what can you do about it? If you believe Wal-Mart engages in unfair business practices, you don't have to shop there. If you want to share your concerns with a customer representative, call Wal-Mart at 1-800-WAL-MART. If you want to find out what Wal-Mart employees and other communities are doing to organize against Wal-Mart, check out www.walmarters.com. Anyone working a full-time job deserves to be able to afford the basics: food, shelter, and health care. But Wal-Mart's wages don't even begin to make that possible for most of their employees. When you shop at Wal-Mart, you may or may not save a little money now, but it's guaranteed everyone will pay more later. What kind of bargain is that? This is Elizabeth Dickinson.